Welcome back, guys. So I want to talk briefly about a situation I went through today. And, sometimes the smallest little situations can spark the biggest and deepest thoughts that will just haunt you for the rest of the day. So I went to the gym this morning, and everything was going pretty normal. And I walked to the drinking fountain to get a drink, and I passed a woman. She was, my rough estimate, I would say she was about 32 years old. And she looked a little bit weathered, like maybe she had a couple of kids, but she was still, she still had some sexual marketplace value to her, okay? And when I walked past her, we had a brief eye contact. And the look on her face, if I could translate the look on her face and reiterate it into words, the look was, "You disgust me." It was an indicator of disinterest. Like, she had no reason to even look at me like that, okay? There was no reason for her to give me that look. It would have been better if she wouldn't have acknowledged my existence at all. And the reason why this sparked such a deep thought in my head, and the reason why I had to, turn this camera on and share it with you guys, is because, I'm a realist, okay? I don't overestimate myself. I don't overestimate myself. I don't underestimate myself. I know right where I fit in. And I'm a very average man, okay? And average is a broad range, guys. If you are a 7 in the sexual marketplace, in terms of sexual marketplace value, anywhere between, I would say, 7 and 4 is average, okay? If you're below a 4, you're definitely a TFLer. If I'm a 7, if I'm 6 feet tall, at least average looking in the face, I'm in good shape, I'm healthy, I should be a 7 in terms of looks, right? In terms of money and status, I'm average. I make enough money to pay my bills and then some. My life is fairly easy. I don't struggle to make purchases that I need or anything like that, and I know there's a lot of people that do. So I can't consider myself below average in terms of earnings or looks or status or any of that. And I get looks like that from women, okay? Guys, it is not looking good for the average man. Now let me explain this woman to you. Since I just gave you a brief description of myself, let me explain this woman to you. Like I said, she was, I would say roughly 32 years old. Looks like she's had a couple of kids, but still carries herself well. Still has some value to her. But one thing that really stuck out in my head when I looked at her, she had a Louis Vuitton gym bag, okay? Yeah, that's like $1,000 bag just to put your gym stuff in, just to put your sweaty gym shoes in. You know what I'm saying? So I became somewhat obsessed with this situation. Like, I wouldn't say obsessed, but hell, yeah, I was somewhat obsessed with this situation at this brief moment. So I was kind of in the corner of my eye watching this girl's actions. You know what I'm saying? And the reaction she gave to this young 21-year-old, really good-looking, absolute fucking, he looked like a fucking supermodel, okay? The looks she gave him were looks of sexual desire, right? And that's fine. I'm not a jealous man, but I just, like I said, I was so invested, intellectually invested, I would say, in this situation. Not emotionally invested, intellectually invested. Because when I see a social situation that just really sparks my interest, I have to pay attention to it. So she was showing this young man all this sexual attraction, right? And then the young man had, I'm not sure what happened. I think he had to leave. He left. And then she went on to flirting with a man who was about 40 and clearly a wealthy man. Judging by the vehicle he drove, the clothes he was wearing, he had an Apple Watch on, and everything was name brand. He had a bracelet that looked like it was, at least solid gold on his other wrist. Clearly a man with money, and she flipped the switch and was showing attraction to this man, but it was a different kind of attraction. It was a facade, as if she were in love, like she had some sort of emotional attraction to this man, when it was clearly evident by looking at her Louis Vuitton bag that the emotional investment that she had in this man was based on hypergamous instincts. Now, me myself, I wasn't dressed the fanciest. I don't want to dress the fanciest. You know what I'm saying? That's never going to be my goal. I don't want to impress people, because I don't want to impress the wrong kind of woman. And 99% of women are the wrong kind of woman. This woman isn't much different than the majority of women out there. You know what I'm saying? So, it just really pulled me into a deep thought, because I know I'm a man with some value. I'm above average, okay? I'm on the high end of average, I should say, right? And women who are, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I'm a 7, she was maybe a 6.5, okay? She was probably a 7 before, when she was in her 20s and before she had kids, she was probably a 7.5 or an 8. But she's fallen down to probably a 6.5, I would say, right now. And she feels in her mind, because of the way society is teaching these young ladies, she feels in her mind like she deserves either a young stud who's an 8 or a 9, or a rich man, right? She deserves better than an average man. This is why men are going MGTOW. Now, a lot of MGTOWers are TFLers. You know what I'm saying? They're TFLers that just never admitted to themselves that they were TFLers, so they went MGTOW. But a lot of men, average men, or slightly above average men, who realize that, once you get a good look at female nature, and you realize you are going to have to put a lot of fucking effort into getting a woman. You know what I'm saying? A lot of bullshit effort that a rich man doesn't have to put in, or an extremely good-looking man doesn't have to put in. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, why is it even worth it? And I believe, I'm keeping all of the politics aside. We can get into that on a different day, but I'm just talking just social standards right now. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I think the reason why men are going MGTOW, because these women have the bar raised so fucking high. It's not fair. You know what I'm saying? It's not fair that an average man has to go to the gym and be looked at in a way, just a heartless way. Letting you know that you're not on her level. Even though I'm not even really attracted to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's below my standards and I'm below her standards. You know, I don't want a 32-year-old woman with a bunch of kids who's high maintenance. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to deal with that shit. No matter how rich or good looking I was, I don't want to deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not worth it to me. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to have a quick talk with you and just, you know, get this off of my shoulders, and hopefully some of you can find this somewhat relatable. You know, these women's standards are too damn high. It's unrealistic. And, you know, the average man or the below average man, guys, it's pretty much over for us. You know, it's game over. It's time to buck up and go MGTOW until these women learn how to behave. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, guys, I hope this video was somewhat informative. And as always, stay MGTOW.